This week in sports media history, on April 29th, 1980, it was the first televised NFL draft, and that was on ESPN. ESPN's had those rights for 45 years, which brings us to a very timely topic. NFL draft dropped this weekend. This is the last year of the current media rights agreement, which has been with ESPN since that 1980 first draft. It seems very likely that ESPN will retain the rights to the draft. Will ESPN be the only partner? Likely not. YouTube is emerged as the frontrunner for the streaming rights for the draft. NFL Media and NFL Network have also had coverage of the event since 2006. It has not yet emerged what the future of NFL Network around the draft looks like. However, there are some reports that ESPN could actually acquire the rights to NFL Media, which would be a natural partnership for the NFL draft. And that is something I am paying a close attention to. So I said this in my newsletter on Monday, but I don't think I have ever been as locked in to the third day of the NFL draft as I was this year. And that was for one reason. It was Shedeur Sanders. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago. We talked about the draft. Overtime followed him as part of their Draft House series. I have never seen a slide in the way Shedeur slid, but it was great for ESPN and viewership. Overall, NFL draft was the second most watched draft ever. It had an overall average audience of 7.5 million viewers and had the most watched day 3 on record, which I thought was going to happen because if you get me on a Saturday, a stunning, gorgeous day where I could be out playing softball, watching and locked into the NFL draft, it was definitely something for them. So round one, best day, obviously. It had 13.6 million viewers across ESPN, ABC, NFL Network, ESPN Deportes. It was up 11%. So rounds 2 and 3, that was 7.5 million, but still, that round 3, that was up 43% over last year, and we all know why. It was Shedeur. But also the draft itself is a spectacle, and that's why they're out in the marketplace. I talked to a couple networks, and there's a lot of interest in the draft. They want a lot of money for it because it's a very valuable property, and especially with these numbers, that's only going to help with negotiations. And I want to stick with football. My colleague Ben Portnoy, our resident college expert, broke the news that the Pac-12 has finally finalized its 2025 football media rights deals. This is a one-year deal with the CW, CBS, and ESPN. And that deal will expand coming 2026 when at least 6 new members join the league. The CW is taking the bulk of the package. They have 9 games. ESPN and CBS each have 2 games. Financial terms are not available. Don't worry, I'm working on it. But I was with the CW, with Mike Perman, head of sports, and Brad Schwartz, the president, at their headquarters in New York on Tuesday, ahead of their upfront event Tuesday night, which, of course, they announced that news on Tuesday. I said to them, of course the CW was going to stick with the Pac-12. You already work with Pac-12 Enterprises. You had the deal last year with the 2 schools in the Pac-2. They said to me, it may have looked obvious to you, but it wasn't obvious to us that we were going to keep it because there's a high demand for this conference and there's high demand for sports properties in general. But it's a good deal for the Pac-12. They have 3 national broadcast partners, and it will very much help them set up for 2026.